take questions. I think, David, you got one in the back? Yep.
And hi, Kyrie. We didn't see you guys on court before Game 4, and we can feel this more tense atmosphere in the locker room before the Game 4. And now during the shooting practice, you were joking around, having fun, smile, and we can feel that it's lighter right now. And I want to know how much lighter is the atmosphere among you guys, and how we could help during the game.
Yeah, I don't want you to mistake us smiling and joking around with each other and being in practice, for a weakness or that we're not taking this any more serious than we were in Game 4. I just think we're here in Boston. We're just trying to settle ourselves. We had a meeting, just as a squad at the hotel where we went over film. So we're pretty locked in from there, and there was carryover into our early minutes in practice. And then when you guys come in, pretty much having fun. It's been this way since we were kids. We want to make sure we relish in this moment, don't take it for granted, and just ground ourselves here too. I think the last 2 games we were even more intense. When we were here in Boston, don't think we got as settled as we would have liked. So we just wanted to try some things a little different, a little bit more smiling, and then 24 hours from now getting ready for all-out battle against this great Celtics team.
4th row on your right on the aisle.
Kyrie, I just want to ask you about your growth, your evolution, spiritually, off the court, on the court. It seems like every interaction that you have is very, very positive. You see that just in your body language, with your teammates on the court. You see that with the chemistry. And you see that when you talk to the press. It seems like there's been a tremendous growth. Can you speak to that? And also, how have you evolved in your view since you left Boston in 2019?
Well, to answer your first part of your question, I would I would be being dishonest if I just took the time to say thank you for putting those words together. In terms of my interactions with people being majority of the time positive. I'll be honest with you, it's not always positive all the time. I'm human. Sometimes there's some misunderstanding or miscommunications, and it takes a little bit of a longer, thorough conversation just to get on the same page. I think I've just figured out in my life that a lot of people just want the time and space to be heard. They want to be listened to, and then if they respect you and you respect them, then they'll listen to you and give you the space to, give you the space to say how you feel as well. I've talked about it over the past few months, just where I was in 2017 or 18 when I first got traded here to Boston. I wasn't in the place to be able to vocalize my feelings or know how to do that. I was learning how to be a man, learning how to be a father. So part of that evolution came from that of, taking the time to go inside and figure out who I wanted to become. But also I had to accept some of the choices I had done in my life. And, when you look at yourself in the mirror, sometimes you don't like what you see, and that could lead to some depression or lead to some anxiety or lead to other mental health issues. And that's a big thing that I think our generation is spearheading, where I hope that the older generation can take a lesson out of our book that, this isn't just some spiritual 70s type of mantras that we're trying to put out here. We actually believe in what we talk about in terms of meditation and having the ability to slow your life down and making sure that you keep your priorities straight, because the world isn't going to care about how you feel mentally all the time or whether or not you are healthy when you're at home or taking care of yourself. So you got to figure out that space for yourself and figure out the village and the tribe that you want to have around you that supports those goals that you have personally. So I don't want to get too preachy again here. How I could speak for hours, but just that's been the growth since 2017. Even before then, just learning how to be a person in this world, making an impact in a positive way.
David, back left.
David Aldridge, The Athletic. Kyrie, you played in a place in Cleveland that had incredible pressure to win a championship because of the history, and they hadn't won in so long. I wonder, though, what was different about when you came here because of the history of this franchise and the almost expectation of this franchise that every year you're supposed to win a championship here, and if you don't, it's a complete failure?
Yeah, I mean, when I look back on it, getting traded here, this wasn't one of my options. It wasn't like number one on my list. So when the trade opportunity got approached to me, instead of going back and appreciating the Celtics history, I just came in with an open mind and just kind of like, all right, I'm just going to go with the flow into this. But I think that was the wrong approach, just being young. But now that I'm a little older, hindsight looking back on it, I definitely would have taken the time to get to know people within the community, talk to some of the champions that have come before me, actually extend myself to them instead of the other way around, expecting them to be there for me and give me advice. Because they've been through it. They have championship pedigree here. They've shown it for years. They're one of the most winningest franchise in all of sports. So you have to show your respects here. And I think that's what I struggled with initially, was figuring out how I'm going to be a great player here while winning championships, while also leading a team and selflessly joining the Celtics organization or the cult that they have here. And that's what they expect you to do as a player. They expect you to seamlessly buy into the Celtics pride, buy into everything Celtics, and if you don't, then you'll be outed. And I'm one of the people that's on the outs. I'm perfectly fine with that. You know what I mean? I did it to myself. They don't welcome me in with warm embrace, even though I know a lot of people in the organization, and my friends still here, some of them. But, yeah, it was just a doing to myself, and that's what I was talking about in terms of accepting the choices. But looking back on it, definitely would have showed my respect and had more of a counsel around me from some of the Boston Celtics that came before me to explain what the pressure is like. So,
If it's at all possible, it is impossible to take yourself out of the equation, but just what is it like for a player to come here to Boston when you look up and you see all the banners and everything, you know what this franchise is about and what the expectations are?
Yeah, I mean, you just expect to have a magnifying glass on you everywhere you go. I don't think Boston appreciates being kind of second class in New York in terms of the media capital of the world, but this is a media capital world as well. There's a lot of history here off the court, so the community is integrated into the Celtics team. That's probably the best way I could say it. The community is what makes the Celtics great here. The Boston pandemonium, that's what makes the space so loud and so special, and they take pride in it. So if any player is coming here or getting drafted here or thinking about coming here free agency or getting traded here, I just think do your homework and make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. That's something I could offer.
Dwayne, back left.
Kyrie, what did you see out of Tim the other night and the looks that he got, and how does you guys make sure he get those same looks tomorrow night?
Yeah, he was just playing with a liberation, about within his game, and he came out knocking shots, and that's what we need from him, is just to stay confident, stay fluid, and he's been doing a great job with the young guys on the bench as well, keeping them engaged. And I think that's the next part of his evolution, including all of ours, is just continuing to be a better teammate, regardless if you're shooting the ball or not. And I think that helps reward you when you're doing those things. So,
Tim?
Kyrie, you talked about you guys as a team getting settled and not having been able to necessarily do that the first couple games. Given the circumstances here, with, as you said, you being on the outs, how do you personally get yourself settled and get yourself to a place where you can perform at the level that they need you?
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see tomorrow, man. Change a few things up, be prepared for what I'm getting myself into. My teammates, most importantly, and not making this about me or getting into the energy with anyone else other than my teammates, and that's about it.
Jeff, fourth row on the left.
Jeff Zilgate, USA Today. Kyrie, it's a slight follow-up to what Tim just asked. I know you wanted to play well here, and maybe you indicated after the first two games maybe not up to your standards. So I wonder what's the balance between having the responsibility to do what you need to do, but without making it too pressure-filled?
Let's just call it what it is. When the fans are chanting Kyrie sucks or anything, they feel like they have a psychological edge, and that's, fair. And of course, if I'm not making shots or turning the ball over, that makes it even more of a pressing issue, right, that they can stay on me for. So I think in order to silence even the self-doubt, let alone the crowd doubt, but the self-doubt. When you make or miss shots, that's just as important as making sure that I'm leading the team in the right way and being human through this experience too, and telling them how I feel. I've had a few teammates be in this building with me on wins and losses, so I know what it feels like for both, but I try to pay attention to the positive things that got us wins here early in my career, and then also thinking about the things I can learn from throughout the performances that I've had here where I didn't play up to par. So it's just being honest about it, and then also breathing through the experience and having fun with it.
Tomer, last question on the left.
Kyrie, Tomer Azarli with The Athletic with Clutch Points. Excuse me. The other day, Phil Handy was on a podcast with Matt Barnes, and he talked about coming back from a 3-1 deficit and just winning those 3 games. And your mind just goes to, how do we win 3 of them? The task that you guys have before you, like, how do you break it down to not look at 4 games, 3 games, 2 games? Just look at 1 game at a time. How does that process work for you?
For me or our team?
The team.
Man, by just thinking about the goal that we have in front of us as best we can, and try not to get tired of everyone talking about the history that has not been made. And I've said it over the past 48 hours, just putting our best foot forward and just simplifying it. It's basketball, win, lose, or draw. It's all, or win or lose, that's all that can happen. So just want to be as prepared as you can for whatever the environment's going to be like in terms of what's expected from you. But I think what I'm sharing with my teammates now is just enjoy the moment, and we got a chance to accomplish one of our goals, which is to make it back to Boston. So we have another goal in front of us, and that's to make it back to Dallas.
Thank you, Kyrie.